Hi guys, I'm Lilo and today I'm going to show you how to customize your price and information guide. So first thing I want you to do is go up to here where it says Essentials. This is the workspace that you're working in and I prefer to change mine to Book. And as you'll see now, we have a lot more options in our tab on the right hand side, and we have this open here now as well. Next up I'm going to show you Pages. So my Pages is already preloaded here, but if you can't see your pages in the right hand tab, you need to go up to Windows and then just scroll down to Pages and make sure that's ticked. So up here it says None and then A Master. If we click on A Master, you're taken to this page, and this has the colored background, text here, and a page number. A master page is a design that can be placed onto any of your pages in your document. So you see here how it says A Master. If you look at your pages here, some of them have a little A on them. This means that this design has been placed onto these pages. If you'd like to add a new page to your document, you can simply pull down the A Master. And you'll see now if I click on the cover page, I just pulled the A Master in below that, and we've got that to work on. So I'm just going to delete that. To delete a page, you can just pull it down into the trash can or press Control, click, and then select Delete Spread. So back up to the master, I'm just going to change the background color quickly so you can see how that affects the pages. So I'll just go to Swatches, Color, I'll just change it to this grey, and then if I go back to my pages, you'll see now that the pages with the A on it have turned grey. These ones aren't grey, as you can see, but that's just because they have a colour block over them. So if we delete them, you'll see that that colour of the master page is still underneath. The last thing I want to show you with pages is how to duplicate a spread. So I'm just going to double click here, which is the About page, and see if I had copy of the About page and it felt too long to be on a single page. What you could do is click Option, pull out that page until you see that line, drop it back in, and then you have a duplicate of that design on the next page. So here and here. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that one. Next thing is changing the fonts within your document. So if I click on here and then go to my character down in your right hand tab, if you don't see character in your tab options, simply go to Window, go to Type and Tables, and you'll find character in there. So this is one way you can change the fonts in the document. If I wanted to change every single text box separately, individually, then this is the method that I would use. And you can simply click on the box, choose whatever font you'd like, and you can see it's just changing in there as I scroll over different fonts I have in my library. And then change the settings to how you prefer them. This is going to be quite a tedious method to change all the fonts in your document, and that's why we've created paragraph styles. So I'm going to click over to paragraph styles now. It's already loaded here, but if you can't see it, that's fine. Just go over to Windows, Styles, and paragraph style is in there. Just show you again, just there. So if I click on this body copy, you'll see over here there's a group that's called Paragraph Grey. And what that is telling me is that all the body copy in this document that is grey is grouped into here. So if I was to change this font, style, then everything that is within that group within the document will change. So I'll just show you quickly how that works. So you just need to double click the highlighted tab, and then this dialog box will open, and go down to Basic Character Formats, And I'm just going to change that so we can see how that affects the document. So I might just choose Didot and then make it quite large so we can see that it's an obvious change. And that looks good to me. And then I'm just going to change the character color, which you can do here. And press OK. You'll see now that my font has changed on this page. But if I scroll down, the font's also changed here and on the next page as well. So all throughout the document, any body copy that is grey has now changed to this style of font. So this is a much quicker method of changing your font, your fonts within your document. The last thing with changing your fonts is if you want to add a new text box. So how you do that is you just go over to the left-hand side here and press on the letter T, drag it on your document, and then you can simply start typing. Alright, so now that we've changed the fonts in our document, we're going to go on to changing the colours. So you can see how these have blue lines around it here. It's quite hard to see the colour of these shapes, but if I click W, it removes all of the outlining boxes of the shapes and images and text, as well as the rulers that you see here. So that's quite handy to use. So now that we can see that these shapes are all the same colour, I'm going to go to swatches. My swatches is preloaded here, but if you can't see it, simply go to Windows, Colour, and you'll find swatches there. Alright, so if I click on this coloured rainbow, you can see how colour 4 is highlighted here. If I was to change this colour, it means that every element within this document that is the same colour as colour 4 will also change. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to double click on colour 4. And there's a few ways you can add your colours into your document. And ideally you already have a colour palette of your branding, and you can simply put your hex key in here. But if you don't, you'll need to use these dials and choose a colour from within. So I'm going to choose this greeny blue, and you can also preview that before you commit. So yep, I think that looks nice, and then I'm going to press OK. So now you can see colour 4 is now the greeny blue that I chose, and if I scroll through the document, you'll see that all the elements that were that colour have now changed. If you want to add more swatches to your swatch area, you can simply click over here on this square, and you'll now have this dialog box open, and you can choose within here your colours, or again put your hex key in here. And once you find some colours that you like, just simply press Add RGB Swatch. And now you can see that this colour that we have previewed here is now in our swatches here. So I'm going to press OK. And you'll notice because the rainbow was selected, that now isn't grouped in with these colours. We've changed it to the blue that we added. With creating a colour block, I'll do that now. So you just select this square over here, but if you press Control and click that square, you'll also have the option for these other shapes. So with my square, it's changed to colour 3, and you can see it filled in here. But if I didn't want the square filled in and instead wanted it to be a stroke, you can simply click these two arrows here, which means that it's going to switch. And I'm just going to make that a bolder colour so you can see. And now that is a stroke instead of a filled in square. And you can change your stroke thickness by going up to stroke. If you don't see stroke in your right hand tab, you can go up to Windows and strokes ticked here. So you can just make that thicker, as thick as you like or as thin as you like there. Another handy thing to note in swatches is that when you click on your colour, you'll notice that there's this tint tab, and it currently says 100%. But if I am to click on the text, I'll click on this element, and then you have to move the square to the front to be able to use it, and then you can tone that colour down, and what the tint is doing is adding more white to that colour, and it only changes it for whatever item you've selected within the document. It doesn't change everything in the document that is that colour. So that's a good way to be able to add lighter shades of the colours that you've chosen throughout your document. One of the last things I want to show you is how to change colours of text. So I've selected this text here, and you can see that because the text box is around it. And if I just simply click on a colour, it actually fills that text box with the colour rather than changing the font. To change the font, I'll just undo that. To change the font, you want to select this T over here instead of this square. So I'll click that, and now you can see there's the colour of the font in this T preview here, and that means that we can now change the colour of our font. Perfect. So the last thing I want to note is that there's colours throughout this particular document that look like colour blocks, but they are actually images. So I'll zoom in on this colour block here, and hopefully you can see on your screen, but there's a slight texture to this block of colour, and this can't actually be created in InDesign. So this is actually created in Photoshop and then pulled in as an image. So if you want to actually change that colour block, you can either go to your textured Photoshop file and change it in Photoshop, then bring it in as a JPEG, or simply click, double click on that image, delete it, and the same colour is just underneath. So you can see there now it's showing that brown, and that image that was on top is now gone. So if I click this, now it's changed to that colour. Alright, and that takes us to changing the images within your document. So images within InDesign are quite different to Photoshop. When you place an image in InDesign, it links to that file within your computer. So it's not actually embedded into the document. And this is done for sizing reasons. If you're making a booklet and you were trying to run a program that had 20 to 100 images in it, then it's going to be quite slow to run that file. So instead there's links, and I'll show you the links tab up here. If you can't see it in your right hand sidebar, just go to Windows and links is right there. So this is telling me that this is the item that I've selected here, and it shows me that there's a group of these images because there's several of the same placed throughout the document. But essentially that is one link. It's the same link, sorry. So if I want to change the image within my document, I simply have to change the link location. So I'll press relink. And then if I go to desktop and choose my image, wherever it is on your computer, I'm just going to choose this one, and press open, it is now loaded into that same area. You'll notice that it's not the same shape, and you can resize your image to fit into the image box by using these two tools. So this one fills the frame proportionally, and this one fits the content proportionally. So if I click that, it's just bumped down to the middle, but it hasn't really changed the shape, and that's because it's filling that frame and not cropping any of the image and just filling it proportionally. But if I click this one, it crops out some of the image so then it can fill the whole frame. So with InDesign, there's actually 2 boxes to an image, and right now you can see that there is this blue line around the image. But if I double click that, you can now see where the image overlaps the crop box. So now I can drag it. And yeah, I like how that's placed, so I'm going to leave it. If you want to keep this exact same shape, but you want to scale it down, rather than maybe double clicking and then pulling down your image, and then you've got to pull the box down. It's quite a process. If you like the shape of this box already, but you'd like it slightly smaller or larger, you can simply press Shift Command or Shift Windows and then scale it, and pull it out or pull it down, and it's going to scale that image as exactly the same shape. If I want to place in another image rather than replacing the ones that the image boxes that are already here, you simply go up to this box with an X through it, just above the square in your toolbox, and just pull out the area that you want to fill with an image. I'm just going to press W again so that we can see all the outlines within this document. And now you can see that that box has actually got a cross through it, and that means that it is an image box. So if I go now to Finder outside of InDesign, I can find the same image or a different one, and then you can simply pull it into that box. And now it is loaded in there. Again, we can just use these tools to make it fit proportionally or fill the box. And there we have it. Alright, so next up I want to show you hyperlinks. This is especially important for your contents page. If you add or delete any pages or change the pages around, you're going to want to change these page numbers. But on top of that, you'll also want to change the hyperlink of these text boxes. So you'll notice that these text boxes have a dotted line around them, and that's telling me that it isn't an ordinary text box. Instead, it is a hyperlink. So if I go to hyperlinks, which is already loaded in here, I click on that. If you can't see it over here, then simply go to Window, Interactive, and then Hyperlinks. Alright, so you can now see that the About tab is highlighted. And I'm just going to double click on that. And we can see in this dialog box that the hyperlink is programmed to bump, when you click the About, it's to bump the user down to page 4. So if you change your page number here and change the pages within your document, you also are going to need to change these hyperlinks. Alright, and I'll just press cancel. If you don't want hyperlinks within your document, you can just pull them down and delete them. And now you see that that's just an ordinary text box. Another cool thing with hyperlinks is you can actually make links to your social media, your website, and any other online presence that you have. So I'm just going to highlight bylilu.com.au, and then I can type in here www.bylilu.com.au, and once I press enter, you'll see it's appeared down here in my hyperlink list, and here is a little green light. And what that green light means is that this has successfully linked up with the website, and we can check that that link is working just by pressing on there. And there we go. We can see that that link works. And now that's a link. And you could also do that with your Instagram as well if you place that in there. Perfect. So hopefully you've been saving your document as you go along. Just going to File, Save. And if you're adding heaps of links from different sources, different areas of your computer, maybe on your hard drive, you want to make sure you either keep your hard drive always plugged in and the links in the same place, or what I recommend more so is that every so often throughout customizing your price and information guide, you go to File and you package this document. And what that is going to do, it's going to duplicate all of the elements within your document and just group them into the same folder. So then when you open this document again, it's going to easily find all the links, so you won't have to go and reattach everything. And you just hit package, and then this will come up and you can just press package again. So last up, I'm going to show you how to export your file. And to do that, the first thing I recommend checking is your pre-flight panel. And what that is, it's this area down here. And right now you can see there's a green light and it says no errors. So that's telling me that everything in the document looks good to export and we're ready to go. But I'll just show you if I was to grab this text box and resize it. And now the text within this text box is overlapping the cropped area. And that's what this little red plus means. And if we look down here, it now is saying one error. So if I double click on that area, and I can see now that if I didn't already know that this was the error, I can see now that it is a text error. But if I scroll away from there, one of the great things about this pre-flight panel is that if I go down to the error and I double click it, it now bumps me into the document to where that error is. So now I can see, oh, there's the little red plus there. I need to drag that out. And now we can see that there's a green line in there and it says no errors. So great, we're all ready to export. So we'll go up to File and then Export. And I'm just going to bump to my desktop. And for mine's already chosen defaulted to Adobe PDF Interactive, but yours might be defaulted to something else. So what you need to do is click on these arrows and just choose that, the Adobe PDF Interactive. So I'll press save from there. Alright, so this little dialog box, there's a few things that we need to check. First off, we need to make sure that it's going to export all of the pages. Next is we want to export as pages rather than spreads. And under options for forms and media, we want to make sure we include all. And then we'll go to compression. And this is the best compression I found that works. You want to change it to JPEG lossy and then the JPEG quality on high, and just type in, it doesn't actually have it as an option, just type in the resolution as 200. And I've tried a few different combinations of this, and this is what I find works the best, because with your interactive PDF, you don't want it to be a really large file because you might be emailing it or it's loaded into a website, and you don't want to make it hard for people to download it. But because you have your beautiful images in there, you also don't want them to be pixelated. So I found that this is the smallest size that I could get my PDFs without them looking incredibly pixelated. So from there you can just press export. Alright, so that's us done. If you guys have any questions, you can simply email me at lilu@liludesign.com.au or jump over to the website at bylilu.com.au.